What if I told you that Social Security could be heading for a complete meltdown in less than 9 years, and even the so-called increases coming your way might actually leave you worse off than before? In this video, I'm going to reveal the shocking truth about Social Security's future, including why the upcoming cost of living adjustments are being called a lose-lose situation for retirees. The three major proposals that could either save or destroy the system, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to protect your financial future before it's too late. Welcome to Financial Area, where we cut through the noise to bring you the real facts about your money. If you want to stay ahead of these critical changes that could affect your retirement, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more essential financial insights. Let's start with what's happening right now that has financial experts calling the current situation a nightmare for retirees. Every year, Social Security benefits are supposed to increase through something called the cost of living adjustment, or COLA. This is designed to help your benefits keep up with inflation so you don't lose purchasing power as prices rise. But here's the problem, and this is where it gets really disturbing. Recent analyses, including reports from major publications like Newsweek, are showing that the upcoming COLA adjustments simply won't be enough. Yes, you'll see an increase in your monthly payment, but it won't even come close to covering the real-world increases you're facing in healthcare, housing, and utilities. Think about this for a moment. Your grocery bill has probably doubled in some areas over the past few years. Your electricity bill keeps climbing. Your Medicare premiums eat up more of your budget every year. But the COLA formula? It's based on an outdated calculation that doesn't reflect what seniors actually spend their money on. It's like using a thermometer designed for measuring room temperature to check if you have a fever. It's just not the right tool for the job. This is why analysts are calling it a lose-lose situation. You get an increase that sounds good on paper, but in reality, you're falling further behind every single month. And that's just the beginning of the crisis we're facing. Because while you're struggling to keep up with today's costs, the entire Social Security system is racing toward a financial cliff. Without any changes, and I mean zero changes to how the system operates, Social Security will become insolvent in just 8 to 9 years. Let me be crystal clear about what this means. Insolvent doesn't mean the program disappears overnight, but it does mean the system won't be able to pay full benefits. The math is actually pretty straightforward, and it's terrifying. We have more people retiring every single day than we have young workers entering the workforce. The baby boomer generation is the largest generation in American history, and they're all hitting retirement age right now. Meanwhile, birth rates have been declining for decades, which means fewer workers are paying into the system to support each retiree. It's like a pyramid scheme that's running out of new people at the bottom. And just like any pyramid scheme, when the math stops working, the whole thing collapses. Policy experts and lawmakers are finally waking up to this reality, which is why you're seeing urgent letters and reports with phrases like "no time to waste" and "immediate action required." But here's what's really frustrating. This crisis didn't sneak up on anyone. Economists and actuaries have been warning about this exact scenario for decades. The demographic trends were predictable, the financial projections were clear. Yet here we are, staring at a crisis that could have been prevented with gradual changes made years ago. Now let's talk about the solutions being proposed, because there are essentially three major approaches on the table, and each one will affect your financial future in dramatically different ways. First up is something called the Social Security Expansion Act of 2025. This isn't just a small tweak, this is a complete overhaul of how the system works, and it's being pushed by lawmakers like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. Here's what this plan would do. Instead of using the current inflation calculation that clearly isn't working, they want to switch to something called the Consumer Price Index for the Elderly, or CPIE.
This formula would actually look at what seniors spend their money on, things like healthcare and prescription drugs that eat up a much larger portion of a retiree's budget compared to working-age adults. The plan also includes a poverty protection guarantee. Under this proposal, no Social Security recipient would be allowed to fall below 125% of the poverty line. If your benefits aren't high enough to keep you above that threshold, they'd be automatically increased. But here's where it gets really interesting and controversial. To pay for all of this, they want to raise the payroll tax cap from the current level of $174,000 to $250,000. Right now, if you make more than $174,000 a year, you stop paying Social Security taxes on anything above that amount. Under this plan, high earners would pay Social Security taxes on significantly more of their income. Supporters argue this is simple fairness. Why should someone making $200,000 pay a smaller percentage of their income in Social Security taxes than someone making $50,000? Critics argue it's a massive tax increase that could hurt economic growth and job creation. The second major proposal is much simpler, but far more painful for future retirees: raising the full retirement age. The logic here is straightforward. If people work longer before claiming full benefits, the system saves money. Currently, full retirement age ranges from 65 to 67, depending on when you were born. Some proposals would push this to 68, 69, or even 70 for future retirees. On paper, this makes sense. People are living longer, so maybe they should work longer too. But here's the problem with this approach. It's essentially a benefit cut disguised as a reform. If you have to wait an extra year or two to get your full benefits, you're receiving less money over your lifetime. And this hits some people much harder than others. If you work in construction, manufacturing, or other physically demanding jobs, working until 69 or 70 might not even be possible. If you're in a demographic group with a shorter life expectancy, delaying retirement could mean you collect benefits for fewer years overall. It's a solution that looks fair on the surface, but creates real hardships for the people who can least afford them. The third approach is called the You Earned It, You Keep It plan, and it focuses on eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits altogether. Right now, depending on your total income, you might have to pay federal income tax on up to 85% of your Social Security benefits. This plan would eliminate those taxes entirely, letting you keep more of your monthly payment. There's already been some movement in this direction. The Trump administration implemented a $6,000 enhanced deduction that provides some tax savings for Social Security recipients. But while any tax relief is welcome, analysts point out that the actual benefit is pretty modest for most people. The reality is that eliminating taxes on Social Security might feel good, but it doesn't address the fundamental problem of benefits not keeping up with the cost of living. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. It might make you feel slightly better, but it doesn't actually fix the underlying issue. So we have three approaches: expand the system dramatically, make people work longer, or reduce taxes on benefits. Each one has supporters and critics, and each one would affect your financial future differently. But here's the thing that might surprise you. Despite all the urgent warnings and dire predictions, major changes are extremely unlikely to happen by 2026. And the reason comes down to politics. We're dealing with election cycle dynamics that make meaningful reform almost impossible. When President Biden was in office, Republicans had every incentive to block Social Security reforms that might help Democrats win elections. Now, with Trump back in the White House, Democrats have the same incentive to prevent Republicans from claiming credit for fixing Social Security. It's a political game where your financial security is being used as a bargaining chip. Politicians on both sides would rather let the other party fail than risk giving them a victory that could help them in the next election. There's also the question of whether some of these funding mechanisms would actually work. Take the tariff plan, for example. Some policymakers argue that imposing tariffs on imported goods could generate billions in revenue to fund Social Security increases.
The theory is that tariffs bring in money, create domestic jobs, and increase payroll tax revenue, a triple win. But economists are skeptical. Tariffs often lead to higher prices for consumers, which could wipe out any benefit from increased Social Security payments. And there's no guarantee that tariff revenue would be stable or predictable enough to fund long-term benefit increases. So while politicians debate and delay, what can you actually do to protect yourself? Because waiting for Washington to fix this problem could leave you financially vulnerable for years. The first thing you need to understand is that help is available right now at the state and local level. While federal politicians argue, many states are implementing their own programs to help seniors and low-income residents. For example, LEHEAP, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, is a federal program that helps people pay their utility bills. If you're struggling with heating or cooling costs, this program could provide hundreds of dollars in assistance. Many people who qualify don't even know the program exists. Some cities and counties are also experimenting with universal basic income pilot programs. Recent programs in Texas and Illinois provided $1,000 per month to low-income families, including seniors. While these are still experimental, they show that local governments are trying to fill the gaps that federal programs are leaving behind. Several states are also considering targeted tax credits that would provide direct financial relief to seniors, regardless of their tax liability. These programs recognize that Social Security recipients often have limited income but still face significant expenses. The key is staying informed about what's available in your area.
Programs change frequently, eligibility requirements vary, and many beneficial programs are under-publicized. You need to actively research what's available rather than waiting for someone to tell you about it. Your second priority should be staying on top of legislative developments. The Social Security situation is evolving rapidly, and changes can happen with little warning. Subscribe to reputable financial news sources, follow key lawmakers on social media, and consider joining advocacy organizations that focus on senior issues. The landscape can shift quickly. A compromise proposal could emerge suddenly, or a crisis could force immediate action. Being informed means you can take advantage of new programs or benefits as soon as they become available. And finally, and this might be the most important point, your voice actually matters in this process. Lawmakers respond to constituent pressure, especially from voters who consistently show up to elections. If you're concerned about Social Security's future, contact your representatives, attend town halls, join advocacy groups, make your concerns known. Grassroots pressure has changed government policy before, and it can do so again. But it requires people to engage with the political process rather than just complaining about it. Here's the bottom line. Social Security is facing a genuine crisis that threatens the financial security of millions of Americans. The proposed solutions all have trade-offs, and political realities make quick action unlikely. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. By understanding the real challenges, exploring supplemental assistance programs, staying informed about policy developments, and making your voice heard in the political process, you can take control of your financial future rather than just hoping someone else will fix it for you. The system is in flux. The politics are complicated, and the timeline is uncertain. But with the right information and proactive approach, you can navigate these challenges and protect your financial security regardless of what happens in Washington. If this video helped you understand the Social Security crisis and what you can do about it, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to Financial Area for more essential financial insights. And let me know in the comments, which of these proposed solutions do you think is most likely to actually happen? I read every comment, and your perspective helps shape future videos. Thanks for watching, and remember, your financial future is too important to leave entirely in someone else's hands. Stay informed, stay engaged, and take action to protect yourself.